Have you ever wondered who's really behind the voice that speaks inside your mind? And what if, just for a moment, you considered that this voice isn't you? That there's something deeper silently observing, while thoughts come and go like clouds in an infinite sky? That single reflection can change everything. Because if the voice isn't you, then who are you really? There are people in this world who have always felt something different about themselves. They don't quite fit in, yet they can't ignore the feeling that they're here for a greater purpose. If you're one of these souls, know that you might be a chosen one, someone with a spiritual sensitivity beyond the norm, called to remember what most have forgotten. But to do that, you must see beyond the mind you were taught to obey. The truth is that understanding the origin of your inner voice is the first step toward awakening your true power. Because only when you realize you're not what you think, do you begin to access what you feel. And more than that, you begin to notice what's always been there. A pure consciousness, silently witnessing everything. If that resonated with you, comment now. I'm ready to be a conscious observer. The voice in the mind, the invisible portal. Have you noticed how your mind never stops talking? There's always a conversation happening in there. Judging, anticipating, remembering, interpreting. But what almost no one stops to consider is that this constant voice isn't you. It's a reflection, an echo of experiences, memories, and conditioning built up over time. The real you is the one listening in silence. Thoughts aren't isolated entities, they're frequencies. Every idea that arises carries a vibration that interacts with the field around you. This field, invisible to the eyes but sensitive to consciousness, responds to what you hold in your attention. When a chosen one begins to understand this mechanism, everything changes. They realize they're not at the mercy of their thoughts. They can choose what to cultivate. And in that choice begins true freedom. The mind is like a theater. It brings out characters, builds the scenery, writes the stories. But you are the one watching. The problem is, many get lost in the scenes and forget they can step out of the audience and rewrite the script. That's why, the higher the sensitivity, the greater the challenge. Chosen ones feel more, think more, and therefore suffer more, until they learn to observe without identifying. Consciousness is the observer behind the curtain. The mind is just an antenna. You are the frequency you choose to tune into. But when that choice is unconscious, the mind takes control, and what was meant to be a tool becomes a prison. A chosen one who identifies with their negative thoughts ends up creating realities that don't reflect their essence. That's why observing without reacting becomes an act of power. Because only those who don't fuse with the mind can shape their own reality. Trapped emotion and the body as compass. Every time you think something with intensity, an emotion is born. And if that emotion isn't fully felt, it doesn't vanish. It settles. It installs itself in the body like an energetic file waiting to be accessed. Anxiety, tightness in the chest, muscle tension. These are emotional memories trying to find a way out. The body is the soul's most faithful mirror, and those who ignore what they feel silently fall ill. Emotions aren't just reactions. They are waves of information vibrating within you. Each one carries a specific message, an invitation to release. When those waves don't flow, they accumulate and distort your frequency. Chosen ones feel this more intensely because their energetic structure is more permeable. What goes unnoticed by others pulses like an alarm within you. That's why learning to feel is essential to stay clear. So now, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Bring your attention to an emotion still living inside you. something unresolved, something heavy. As you inhale, embrace it. As you exhale, let it go. Say internally, I see you, I release you, and I reconnect with the all. Repeat this as many times as needed until you feel lightness, because when you feel, you honor. And when you honor, the emotion no longer imprisons you. In the language of the elements, fire transforms, water purifies, air liberates, and earth sustains. All these forces are within you, and they must be in balance for your vibration to rise. Chosen ones carry this ancestral awareness. They feel what hasn't yet been spoken, sense what hasn't yet happened, because their consciousness is pre-sensory. And so, never forget, what you feel, you transform, if you don't run from it. The creative mind, the true mark of the chosen ones. There is a silent mark that sets chosen ones apart, the power to turn thought into reality, not as an occasional wish come true, but as an active force that shapes the world around them. Every idea nurtured with intention, every thought charged with emotion, creates a vibration that the universe listens to, and sooner or later, it responds. This isn't a miracle, it's structure. It's the field responding to what you vibrate. Modern physics is beginning to accept what the ancients knew for millennia. The observer interferes with the experiment. In other words, consciousness collapses possibilities into facts. Thought is the seed, emotion is the water, and consciousness is the sun. It's the alignment of these three levels that makes reality bend to your presence. But when there's misalignment, what's created is chaos. That's why the power of creation requires awareness and surrender to the flow. You are co-creating all the time, whether you're aware of it or not. The difference is that a chosen one, once awakened, chooses what to create. They understand that their thoughts are not harmless, that every sustained mental pattern is a command sent to the universe. That's why the mind must be mastered with wisdom. The universe doesn't respond to requests. It responds to vibrations. And vibration is born from the coherence between what you think, feel, and are. Chosen ones manifest more quickly because they came with a field already tuned to purpose. Their inner portals are open, and because of that, reality bends more easily to their focus. But that also means greater responsibility. Creating without awareness is playing with fire. Careless thinking is planting storms. That's why this is the second time I must tell you clearly. Guard your mind as one would protect a sacred portal. The rediscovery of the observer. The mind is not who you are. The emotions that pass don't define your identity, and the thoughts you have aren't commands. They're seeds. True freedom begins when you realize you can choose which seeds to plant. You are the observer, the one who sees, feels, thinks, but is not limited by any of these internal movements. You are the silent presence behind it all. It doesn't matter what's been said about you, or the paths you've walked. From the moment you recognize that you are consciousness in action, everything changes. You're not here to understand life. You're here to shape it, because the mind is the bridge, but the spirit is the destination. And if you felt this truth resonate within you, comment now. I am the presence behind creation. I'll reply with a video that, chosen intuitively, will be your next step on this journey of expansion. And remember, you are not here to find a purpose. You are the purpose, experiencing itself. Thank you for watching until the end. I hope to see you in the next video. A life of infinite possibilities awaits you.